In January 2019, I made one of the most important steps in my life. The step into the airplane. I left my known life behind. Since that step, I'm living a full-time traveler life. It was a step into the unknown, like every step I'm taking since that day, knowing that the unknown means potential and full of possibilities. Hi beautiful soul, I'm so happy that you are here with me today in this high vibe vlog. Why I'm calling it like this, I will tell you later. But first I want to say that I'm here with my van. I'm traveling since over 1,000 days. I'm not finished yet. These are only the first 1,000 days that I'm on the road. And I want to talk about what I have learned, the things that changed me and the things that I have learned during these days that maybe were not possible if I would have stayed at home and living the life I was living before. And the first thing that I have learned, I want to talk about that maybe does not seem high vibrational, but we have to talk about this. And it's that even if you fulfill your wildest dreams, even if you're living your dream, the life of your dreams, it does not mean, okay, let's say different. Living the life of your dreams or fulfilling your wildest dreams do not save you from bad days or even depression. That's important. It's not only important for you to know, but also if you see other people on Instagram or somewhere else that you admire, that inspire you, and you think, wow, they are living the life of my dreams. If I would live that kind of life, or if I would have the life that they have, I would be always happy. I would not have bad days anymore, or I would not have depression or not a disorder anymore. And that's not the case. It's not the case, really. The reason why I don't have depression is because I'm working on it. The reason why I survive or I can change a bad morning into a better day is because I work for it. It's not because I live the life of my dreams. Of course it can help. I can tell myself, oh, that's amazing. Look, Patricia, you are living such a nice life. You are living the life that you wanted always to live. So it can help, but in the end it does not help. If you have something in you or your mind is tricking you and it will just continue doing it, even if you're living the life of your dreams. This shows one thing, you can't escape from yourself, never. And that's also, in my opinion, the positive thing, the high vibrational part of it. Because if you can't escape from yourself, that means that it's time, it's always time to deal with yourself and what you have inside you. Because you are an amazing human, an amazing soul. You just have to see it for yourself. And so if you can never escape from yourself, that's good, because yeah, deal with it, start to work with yourself. And that's something I already knew, but I had to learn again. In the beginning I was pretty happy to live that life, and then I saw that, and even now it happens, that I wake up and my thoughts are not positive. And I just have this heaviness in me and this sadness, and then I have to learn to live with that and think about what can I do to feel better, to not feel like this? How can I honor my emotions but not lose myself in them? So this is one thing I have learned, and that it's really important. Yet nothing saves you from yourself. And also it teaches that you have it in your hands. How you feel is in your hands. What you do with yourself and your emotions and your whatever you have inside yourself is in your hands. You have the choice to change. You have the choice to work on yourself, even if it's so hard and it takes so long. But I'm pretty sure if you're in a bad place at the moment, coming out of that, even if it takes you years, it's worth it. Let's go directly to the second thing I have learned before we go for a walk. The second is that March 2020 showed one thing for me, or in my situation maybe even more than for other people, and that is that everything in life can change at any moment, and it can change drastically. So hi from my editing me. While I was talking about change, my camera decided to change too and not record anymore. So what did I want to tell you about change? So of course, while traveling, many things can change from one moment to the other, and the most drastic one we had was the change, of course, from March 2020. We had it hit us quite hard because we had to leave the van and go into a 9 months lockdown in Argentina. So this was a big change for us. Anyway, changes are not always nice. They're not always the ones that we want to see in life. But I want you to know that you can embrace change. And even if you don't like it, remember that change is the only constant in life. So if the things that have changed you don't like, then change them again. Then do whatever needs to be done for the change. Anyway, it's always like this in life. If something changes, it's because it comes from one moment. It can be a moment where you have had an insight, an epiphany, a moment where you decided to change, a moment where you had a new intention. And even if it's just a small moment, this small thought, this is the beginning of a big and huge change. It can be that it changed your whole life. One moment, 1 second, one thought. So a whole change or a whole new life begins with one small moment, always. And if you resist and try to resist change in your life, you make your life really harder and you can't be in the flow of life. Because as I said, change is the only constant in life. And while traveling, of course, this is even more, because you are always doing and changing. You're always going to a new place. And if something happens, the changes feel more drastically because everything around you changes, as I said in March 2020. Exactly. So now I continue editing and you will go for a walk with me. So why do I call all of this a high vibe vlog? So I don't know where this concept will go, if I will keep it or not, but I was thinking about doing everything high vibration, in high vibration. So when I start to write down the idea of this video, I'm in a high vibrational state. When I start filming, I'm in a high vibrational state. When I will edit the video, I'm in a high vibrational state. And everything else too. So when you are watching it, I want that you are high, that you feel the high vibration. I want that you also, just by watching this video, that your vibration increases and raises too. So the next thing that I have learned while traveling on my 1000 days on the road up to now is human connection and how important human connection is. I'm traveling with my boyfriend. We are two people, and of course I love him, it's amazing with him, but it's just one person. And though I was always the person who I love to be alone, I have to say I miss my friends a lot. I miss too this human connection, exactly. And I did not expect that I would miss this human connection so much. Also, it was pretty difficult to find like-minded people. I have to say in the first, it's just about a few months that I started to change my desires to meet like-minded people, other spiritual people, people who have the same ideas, and since then I'm meeting them. But before, I would say in the first, I don't know, 700, no more, 800 days, I did not meet people who had this kind of interests that I have. And this was pretty difficult. So I was always with my interests alone. Of course I had friends that I could talk to. They were back in Switzerland, or they are back in Switzerland, or somewhere else in the world. And so this was pretty difficult. So human connection and friends are much more important than you may think at the moment. Also, when I'm talking about human connection, I mean something that I did not know in Switzerland. And I learned that also in other travels before I was traveling with the van, for example in India or in other places, that people around the world, they oftentimes are much more open to each other. They're much more nice to each other than people in Switzerland. People in Switzerland are all polite and everything, but they don't talk to each other if they don't know each other. And if you need help, maybe they would not help you. They would say, "Oh, next person can help. I don't know this one. I do not need to help." And something I have learned is that in many other countries in this world, maybe in the one that you are living, it's the same, let me know. The people just help, and the people are just there for you if something happens. And I feel that in a way that we are all in this together, in this life, in this human being. We are in this here together. We are all souls incarnated in this world at the same time. And this connection I never felt in Switzerland. There it's like it was I am one person, the other one is one person, and does another life, and we have nothing to do together. And here and other places in the world, the people just are there for each other. Even if you don't know someone, you just talk to them. And so it really changed my perspective of human connection. And point number 4, what I have learned since I'm on the road is that connecting with nature connects me to myself. I'm so much connected and living with nature, I could not imagine that before. As I'm living in the van, it means also that my garden is the world. That everywhere that we stand, if it's not in a city or in a gas station, we are in the midst of nature. We wake up when the sun rises, we go to sleep when the sun sets. Everything is just much more connected with nature. And I think if I would have done that before, connecting myself more with nature, I would have found to myself even faster and in a whole other level. For example, my menstrual cycle now is exactly the same as the moon cycle. So I bleed when it's new moon, and I have my ovulation when it's full moon, exactly on the day. And I think this just happened because I was so much in nature. I was watching the moon every time when she was there, and so this makes me connected to much more with myself, because we are not in nature, visiting nature, we are nature. We are a big part of nature, not less than every tree, not less than every animal or every mushroom somewhere. No, we are exact the same. We are exact the same part of nature and as anything else in nature. So don't forget that you are nature too. Go somewhere where you can experience that. You will find a whole other connection with yourself. And the last one, and maybe the most important for me, was that I have learned that you can live a life, or that living a life can have an endless amount of ways. There's not one kind of life and one only. And for me, from this small-minded Middle European way of life, I thought that this is the only way that it's good to live a life, to work 9 to 5 until you are 65, and then hopefully you get enough money to do whatever you want. And so this was something I thought, this is the normal life, and how I want to live, or the urge that I feel to live, it's wrong. So because I don't want to live that kind of life, I thought that I am wrong. And since I'm traveling, I've seen that, and there are an endless amount of ways to live a life. I see that among other travelers, among people that don't live in their country anymore, people that live in their country, natives. There is an endless amount of ways to live a life. So there's not one right one. You can choose. You can absolutely choose. So this was one of the most important aspects and most important things that I have learned on the road. And now don't forget to watch this video next. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I would love if you subscribe. And I thank you for watching. Bye!